Happy Monday, Nasties. What an intro to come into. Wow. That doesn't get you going. I don't know what will. Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. I'm Hernan Salas, joined by my co-host Joaquin Gage, and behind the camera, our good old pal, Zachticum.
That music's pumped up even Zach. He's
Holy
wrecking the mic.
Smokes.
My gosh. Oh, that's good. That's good. Quick fix.
Quick fix. Hey, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. You want to listen to us? Hit us up on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, where you can watch us on the YouTube channel. You want to hit us up on the Nasty Chat or 780-218-9999. We got a fun show lined up. Lots to get to, Gager. So many sporting events this weekend. We got an Oiler game going on right now. I think the second is just underway. There's no score in that game. But Gager, weekend, how was it?
It was good, man. What did we do? Well, we had a good Friday here. Just kind of decompress after the week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then Saturday, it was basically a lot of work. And then went out with the old lady and just had a nice little early dinner.
Nice.
Went home.
Where?
At the taco shop at Whim. So
okay.
Nice little place. Tons of like 111 different types of tequilas on there. Still trying to find my favorite.
Still trying. It's a process, right?
You can't do it all at one sitting, but you can try. You can definitely try. So it was good. And then just kind of watched a lot of CFL actually, man. So.
Yeah, we'll get to all of that. Are you a big farmers market guy?
I was a German market guy before.
Oh.
And it was I did a lot of that, but no, not so much here.
Yeah, we went to the one on 104th on Saturday. A lot of good little stands there. You can find so many fresh vegetables and fruits. We found some Peruvian sausages.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they were fantastic. But yeah, like you said, in Germany, in South America, the markets are so much different.
Oh, they're way better. Way better.
So much different.
I mean, there's tons of stuff you can find. I like the olives, the fresh marinated stuff, the cheeses. It's a completely different ball of wax.
Yeah, and a little bit of vino with like you said, with the wifey as well. Yep. Watched UFC though. We're gonna get our UFC expert in on that here shortly on a hell of a card. But we got a fun show coming up. Of course, we're gonna talk Oilers. Sidney Crosby signs an extension with the Penguins, but we'll be joined at 1:40 by defensive assistant with the Edmonton Elks, Grymes. He joins us every Monday as they get prepared for a big game. And at 2:20, our big guest of the day, Trey Ford, quarterback for the Green and Gold, will join us here as, it's a big 2-game set coming up here. Their playoff destiny is in their own hands. That must be exciting for a group who hasn't had a lot of success lately. Gabe. Well,
yeah, and just having the week off, I think, and having to digest what's going to happen over the next week and getting ready for, it is the most important game of the season, most important back-to-back. We talked about the split before, but from all accounts, talking to all the people with the Elks, it's just one game at a time, right? Yeah. And if keeping that mindset, but have that whole in the back of their mind that they could do some damage here.
Yeah, it's 1-0 mentality, just one game at a time, and I think that's the best way to approach it. And Saturday, weather's supposed to be decent. I'm expecting a big crowd. It is their campish class game. We'll see. One of their guys is going to send me some info, but the tailgate's going to be bumping. It's just going to be an overall fun time, and it's been a while since we've been able to talk about the Elks and possibly a playoff position. Listen, I understand they're still in 4th place in the West and not in a playoff spot, but man, it's getting there so close, and I know the boys down there must be excited. So we'll get Aaron's thoughts on it. We'll get Trey Ford's thought, who was also at the Country Music Awards presenting with McLeod Bethel Thompson. That was a cool thing to see on the socials of the Edmonton Elks.
United front, right? Everyone, we were discussing it too, and sometimes you get wrapped up in it a little bit of the controversy. Do these guys like each other?
Yeah.
Is there, bottom line is they're all trying to get the same thing accomplished here, and that's obviously get to the playoffs and then win your last game of the year. nice to see them both out together. And it looked like there was some camaraderie. This is sometimes it takes time. I know that. Like, this is the one reason that F1 always appealed to me, is the relationship between drivers on the same team. Same thing with quarterbacks.
You're competing,
yeah. You're constantly competing with one another, but you have to also be in the corner of each other if you want to. In a team sport, you have to put the team ahead of yourself in a lot of different situations, or else you're not going to last as a professional usually.
And what was cool, I don't know if you watched the full video that they put out, but all 4 quarterbacks were together. Like Jared Daggy was there, Dakota Prukop. Looks like they had a hell of a time presenting. Leon Draisaitl, Corey Perry also. So it's great to see not just the Oilers out there, but the Elks getting out there and getting a big round of applause there. And obviously with the team doing so well right now, pushing for that playoff spot, it is great to see those guys. One of the good things on Friday, Gager, for the first time ever on EST Afternoons, we hit over 100 thumbs up.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
that's right,
I think it tapped out at 113. So thank you for everybody who smashed that thumbs up button. Let's keep it going. We're at 16 now. We got a ways to go, but we got we got about an hour and 15 minutes to go here. So we can we do it back to back? We'll see.
It's the young guns are going right now. I'm not sure what the score is. It was heavily weighted in one direction, that game. A couple big hits too.
Well, let's get to because on the weekend, not the best performances by the Oilers Young Stars. This is a team there's not a lot of offense on it. They only scored 1 goal. They lost 2-0 to Vancouver on Friday, 3-1. I know Matt Savoy got an assist, so that kind of calmed everybody down. But it's one of those things. And listen, it's not everybody, and this is a very passionate Oilers city, so I understand it. But let's pump the brakes on that. The Oilers have the worst prospect pool. And listen, when you're competing for a Stanley Cup, you can't be a contender for the Stanley Cup and have the best prospect pool. It just doesn't work that way.
If anything, I think the proper way to really navigate I think it's a mixture. Like in years past, you got to build through the draft. You got to get back to, there's those growing pains. And I think what the Vegas Golden Knights have taught everyone in the league is there is the ability to rebuild on the fly. Just because you do have those assets that maybe you've grown up, that's what they are. They're assets. Like, it's how many times during the regular season, maybe we should get cool about in this. How many times management says it's a results-driven business, right? It's win now. It's not, we'll be okay in 5 years, especially in certain markets. That could be death. If you don't get back to a winning way, you're losing a fan base. So using those assets to make your team better now, I think you have to look at that.
How many times did Tampa Bay trade their first round pick?
Oh, yeah.
When they were on that run. They didn't care. They
didn't care, especially in those. Their first rounders were in that 24 to 30. You can still hit, and that's part of your scouting staff. That's their responsibility. But, I think there's only one player on the Vegas Golden Knights that has been drafted by that team that's a regular NHLer.
And that's the thing here. Like we just got to pump the brakes on it. And we knew going in, this was going to be a team hard pressed for offense. We've seen, I know one name that's standing out for many is, I saw a few Oilers that are actually watching the game. Connor Clattenburg with his physicality, drafted by the Oilers in the 5th round, 160th overall. We saw Corbet today drop the mids here. And we got a few on the nasty chat from Vasily Podkolzin. Nate Corbet is making a name for himself. Fought a 22-year-old with 310 PIMs in the ECHL. So and
he did well.
He did well. We were watching in there, and he's holding his own. Of course, his dad is
Rene
Corbet, former Colorado Avalanche.
Yep. And who else? I played against him. He played with Chris Joseph in Mannheim in Germany too for a while. Good player. Really good player.
We think it's 0-0. We'll get one of the boys in there to give us an update here as soon as they can. But that's my message to all Oilers fans. Let's just relax, pump the brakes. The guys are going to be fine. These are young guys. A lot of them, It's going to take a while to see him up with the Oilers if they ever make it to that point. But they do have some interesting prospects. But don't read too much into this. Matt Savoy's going to be fine, Gager. He's not a bust.
Oh yeah, no, it's there's a long ways to go. And look, how fortunate are Edmonton Oilers fans not to have all their hopes and dreams let rest solely on the shoulders of a 19-year-old rookie.
Because I think it's like the damage from the decade of darkness where we're always expecting one of these young guys to make the team. The Oilers are not in that let's say in that path anymore. They're set. They're one of the oldest teams. So let's just relax. Zachticum, do you have an update?
Yeah, I believe it was a Jets rookie who scored it, and now is 1-0. Torgerson.
Yeah. So again, if the Oilers young guns go on 3, it's going to be okay. Some big news out of Pittsburgh, Gager. Sid the Kid. Well, we can't call him that anymore, but he signs an extension, a 2-year extension that will run through the 2026-27 season, and his cap hit will be 8.7. Initial thoughts on this? I mean, even at 37, this guy's still a stud.
Yeah, and I mean, I look at the player, the actual player. Is there a team in the league that gives him more than that if he hits the open? You think so?
I do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like a team that's trying to make that push into that wild card or into the playoffs, I think they would overpay for him.
Really?
Yeah, I think by maybe $1 or $2 million.
You think he's a $10 million player?
No, but I think teams would overpay just to have Sidney Crosby on their team.
See, but I think that would be a mistake, man. I think I don't think he gets more than that anywhere else than Pittsburgh. Great job for him.
You think he gets lower on the open market?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nasties? Let us know.
Yeah.
And check this out. This is Sidney Crosby will end up playing 19 of his NHL seasons, Gager, with a cap hit of 8.7. How crazy is that?
It's nuts. Good for him. That's a lot of dineros. Could he have gotten more? Yes. But would that have affected him being a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Conn Smythe winner? Probably. Right? And look at the landscape back then. 8.7 was probably looked at more as, the 10 or 12, 14s at the time too, right? He was at the tops of the league salary wise at that certain amount of time. So no, I think he gets kind of a little bit of a bump being back in Pittsburgh, and I like the fact that there's a possibility that he remains a Pittsburgh Penguin throughout the rest of his career.
So check this, his last 2 years. Last year, 94 points. The year before, 93. I think that's worth 8 points. And is it for you just the age?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think he's going to be around that for the next 2 years?
Oh, yeah. He'll play out the 2 years, I think.
No, but around that 80 to 90 point pace. And it also gives him flexibility to sign other guys.
I mean, the Penguins right now have $874,000 in cap space. He's got Raquel, Bunting, Malkin, Rust. It's going to be very difficult for him to find that. But in the right setting, I think I would say there's a possibility that he can get to those types of point totals. I'm wondering if, these next 2 years, maybe not this year so much, next year, cap raises, depending on where Pittsburgh is, I find that contract might be a little bit easier to trade than if it were the 10-5 or 11 or something like that, right? Then you're just handcuffing them. And I mean, again, I don't want to really see Sidney Crosby in a different jersey. I think it just looks funny. We talk about how certain players they belong in a certain jersey, I think, throughout their whole career. But man, I don't know. Maybe let us know what you think. 780-218-9999. If you think Sidney Crosby stays a Pittsburgh Penguin over the next 3 years.
Yeah, and Zach, you put up a poll there on the Nasty Chat. Can you just let our listeners know what you have up there as our poll question?
Yeah, so on YouTube right now, I put up a poll. Do you think $8.7 million AAV is worth it for Crosby? And I think I forgot the question mark, but the question still stands. Yes or no?
I do. I truly do for what he's putting up for points and how important he is for that team. And Gager says he probably would have went lower. Vasily Podkolzin on the Nasty Chat says, I'd say he's like 9.5, 10 million. I could be wrong. And then Dash, our friend Dash in the park from Heavy Hockey says, Sid is up 127 points behind Mario for Pens all time. He'll stay in Pittsburgh. That's interesting, though.
Become the all-time leader?
Yeah.
I mean, he will if he does stay. He's like, what, 6? Yeah. He's at the lowest amount. Oh, barring any injuries, right? But, yeah, he's 60 to 80-point player a year.
Yeah. That's interesting, though, if, like, towards the end of that deal, like, you've brought up that you want to go to the contender if this team's not contending.
Well, yeah, and you're probably retaining some and prospects, right? Draft picks. Because that lineup, man, look at the age. Jesus. It's old, man. There's nothing there. They're not even a playoff team. Right?
You're not high on them. I'm not high on their GM either. I think Dubas is kind of a little overrated for my liking.
I don't like the way he puts together teams.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not conducive to today's NHL. He puts together. If he was the GM of my men's league team, he'd be really good because he's looking for just high offense, right? Men's league games are 14, 15 goals a game.
Yeah,
that's perfect. But look what he did in Toronto. It just was always focus on the forwards and I think that's how he was back in Sault Ste. Marie too. And I don't know.
Yeah, one last one here on the Nasty Chat. Spency 5 cents. He says cool bet as Crosby over 88.5 season points at -112. I think he hits the under. He is getting old.
Well, look, he's still one of the best in the league, but he needs other players to play with, and I just don't think Ricard Raquel or Brian Rust are the catalyst to help him get over that hump, right?
That's a good
I think it was last year. What was their penalty or their power play? It was completely anemic, that power play. And with the likes of Crosby, Malkin, Letang,
Gensel for the first half.
And they just sucked. So, yeah, I like that. I would bet the under too.
All right, we're going to wrap up the first segment here. Coming up next, we'll continue. The Sidney Crosby is 8.7 an overpayment. I say no. Gager says yes. Zach, where do you land on this?
I think it's a great cost because I don't think it's an overpay whatsoever. Sure, he's going to be like 39, 40. He's pushing 40, but he had 94 points last season. And he's one of those players who I think his age won't really deter him and take away a lot from his game. He might lose his boots, but he's just so smart and can make those plays that I don't think 8.7 will be bad. And especially on the Penguins as well, now that they're trending downward and they don't have those big stars. And well, I mean, they do, but they're just aging, like Malkin, Letang, and then Carlson as well. So,
oh yeah, that's a good one.
They're all their aging players are just getting older, and they're not going to be good, and they haven't really been that great for a few years. So 8.7 isn't that bad of a hit. Plus with the cap raise as well, it's not going to really be much at all.
Dash brought up a good point. If he does get to 82 points or over, right? He continues his record-breaking 20th consecutive point per game season.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
He's just been outstanding player. One of the favorites. Then he's going to go down, and maybe we'll talk about that next. Where does he rank all time? But more Oilers, CFL, NFL, UFC, F1. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoon. That's Joaquin Gage. I'm Hernan Salas. Zachticum is behind the camera. We'll be right back after a sports update with Zach.
Right now, it's the Edmonton Oilers rookies against the Jets rookies in Penticton. It's 1-0 Jets with just under half the game to go. And out in New York, goaltender Ilya Sorokin is expected to be good for the start of the season. The 29-year-old underwent back surgery in the offseason after posing a .909 save percentage last year. For Monday Night Football, it's the Eagles versus the Falcons at 6:15. Catch Lieutenant Eric for the game down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where he'll be every Monday and Thursday night throughout the entire NFL season. And over in Carolina, it's the Panthers announcing that they will bench quarterback Bryce Young for Andy Dalton next Sunday. Through 2 games this season, Young has thrown for 245 yards and is 31 for 56 in passing. 25-year-old Jermaine Johnson has been confirmed to suffer an right Achilles tear last night. The Jets' edge rusher came to social media this morning to announce this injury. And just after the break, Hernan and Gager will be back to talk more about Sidney Crosby and his new deal re-upping with the Pens. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Get ready, Edmonton. The moment you've been waiting for is here. It's time to celebrate the best of the best with the ESTs as we honor everything from Edmonton Sports Talk's incredible first year. Join us on September 17th at Metro Cinema for an unforgettable night of excitement, laughter, and recognition. Tickets are just $10. Secure your spot by emailing matt@edmontonsportstalk.com. And after the show, let's keep the party going at Hudson's White Ave for the official after party. Mark your calendar, grab your tickets, and get ready to celebrate the best moments of EST. It's the Esties, September 17th.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088. Or go to jameshbrown.com.
At A&W, you can start the morning off right with a regular coffee and an egger of your choice for just $4.99. Bacon and egger or sausage and egger on a seeded bun or an English muffin? The choice is yours. But we know it'll be tasty either way. And to make matters even more delicious, this offer is available all day. But don't snooze on this deal. An egger and a regular coffee for only $4.99 is a limited time price. Available at participating A&W restaurants in Greater Edmonton.
Yes, you know it's true.
.126 on a beautiful Monday afternoon. Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Static free since 23. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios in the west end of the city. Tommy, what's the score in the game?
1-0 Winnipeg.
After 40? Midway through the second, 1-0 Winnipeg. As the young Oilers having some trouble finding the offense. As Joaquin is talking to Tommy here as Tommy's leaving for the day. Gage, we were talking about Sidney Crosby here in the first segment. Where would you rank him all time?
Oh, gosh.
Top 5, top 10? It's got to be in there. There's nowhere else.
I like him in the top 5. I know it's tough. It's very tough. He's top 10 for sure. And if I'm... Yeah, because you're looking at today's players too, where they're going to eventually maybe if you take McDavid out of it, like just remove McDavid right now, because I think McDavid
he's still playing.
Well, so Sidney, but
I mean, like he has a lot more years left. Where who knows what he's going to do? Who knows what's
going to happen? I think I'm getting a lot of heat on this this message line, which is great, but everyone says I'm still drinking tequila. Look, he had Gensel last year and up to the deadline there. So looking at the players that he's playing with this year, I mean, can you honestly say if he's playing with Bunting and Rust, he's going to get close to 92 points? That's because he doesn't play with Malkin.
No, only on the power play.
Like on the power play, and their power play wasn't there last year. That's what I'm saying. Like he needs he'll need some assistance to get to try to get to the 82 again. I think that's why I said he's between a 60 to 80 point player. Well, that's why Jake Gensel was so sought after, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge loss for them. Zach, how's the poll doing on the good old nasty chat here?
Right now we have 29 total votes, and the poll once again: do you think $8.7 million AAV is worth it for Crosby? 83% say yes, 17% say no.
Yeah. I do think it's a good deal. I think he's going to be around that 80, 90 mark. Now that you're telling me his wingers, I'm a little more hesitant, but closer to 80. Because who else is going to put up points on that team to that level? There's not a lot. I don't see a lot of young guys pushing there to play in the top 6 either. So,
well, maybe they'll just rely on the defensive prowess of Erik Karlsson and really lock it down.
Karlsson and Letang. It's a nice duo. They move the puck well. They can put up points, but defensively, probably not the two guys you want there defending a lead out there. You want to do CFL, NFL?
Let's go to the CFL first. Okay. Like, if there was a week to wear Dusty's "What is happening,"
yeah,
like his call of what is happening, that's what I looked at the CFL this weekend. Like everything, I would love to see the amount of parlays or betting slips that just got destroyed because of the scores here. You're funny because I walk in today and I say, "How about that CFL?" You go. Quarterback controversy out in BC, and I'm like, yeah, that, like Toronto just crushing them. And I mean, we were talking last week about Ottawa solidifying their place in the playoffs. What do? They go straight to fall into the outhouse in their game, and then Calgary somehow finds a way to tie the Alouettes. Like, it's just a very, very interesting weekend in the CFL.
Well, let's start with the BC Lions. Yes, Rourke was not good in the first half. The team wasn't good in the first half. But then the last drive before the half, it's a pretty good drive, and he scores a touchdown. And then coming out, it was first reported on Twitter, they're like, Rourke has his ball cap on, and Vernon Adams is warming up. To you, did Rick Campbell make a panic move? Was he trying to wake up his team? Because, yes, Rourke wasn't good, but the last drive, he was starting to feel it, scored the touchdown. They were still right in it. Was it the right move to go to Vernon Adams at that point?
I think it was just the coach seeing and I mean, I look at it as a goalie getting pulled, obviously, something I have a lot of experience in. He's trying to get the team going, I think, was more so than anything else. Even though Rourke was starting to look like he was getting back into it, just seeing the signs of what the BC Lions looked like during that losing streak, I think you saw that in the first half. It wasn't the BC Lions over the last 2 games, and because those kinds of things were rearing their ugly head, those tendencies, I think there was no doubt I'm going to pull the trigger. Maybe that'll give everybody a little bit of boost and try to come back and win a real important game.
Yeah, and kudos to the Argos. They played really well that game. For me, BC's next game, I think they're on a bye this week. I'm going back to Rourke. Are you making that same call?
Yeah, I want to see what kind of fire I lit under him. You know, you've already taken it away. He's your guy of the future. Same type of thing we say here with Trey, right? I think you have to go back to him and see what the kid can do.
And then you talked about the Calgary game, who's struggling mightily, bring in the Montreal Alouettes, host the Montreal Alouettes, coming off a loss, the best record in the CFL, so I'll say they're the best team, but right now I don't think they're playing the best.
Yeah.
But it's only the second tie in a season in the CFL since 2007. I got to say this, like, I hated ties back in the day in the NHL. Yeah. We're old enough to remember that. I hate him even more in football. They're terrible.
I wish they would just either, maybe back up 5 yards each time and see, because you're just going to get field goals and for sure it's going to end, right? But if you back it up and it doesn't work, it puts a little bit more pressure on the kicker. He might miss, whatever. I hate it. I like it. I like it going back and forth. Like, I like that. But, Yeah, you don't want to see it end in a tie. You want to see one team going nuts, right? Because it just seemed like they were playing it safe after a while.
Yeah, and the West Division as it stands right now, Winnipeg and BC tied at 14 points, Saskatchewan at 11, the Elks at 10, Calgary at 9. This week, it's Edmonton, Winnipeg, Calgary, Saskatchewan. These are going to be two fantastic games that our own Dustin Nielsen's going to be calling. But, Gager, if you're watching Saskatchewan, Calgary, who do you want to win that one?
I think I want Saskatchewan to win that one. Calgary.
Just bury Calgary?
Yeah, no. I think Calgary's not a good enough team. They're kind of pretenders. I think, to me, there might be something there with Saskatchewan more so. I want to see the best teams in.
Because the Elks currently sitting fourth, still out of a playoff spot. This series coming up with Winnipeg is going to be absolutely huge. If they can win Saturday, they'll only be 2 points back. And then in Winnipeg, which is always tough to play in, it's a tough stadium to go and pick up 2 points. When Winnipeg's playing extremely well. Like right now, you'd have to pick Winnipeg and Edmonton to be the two top teams in the CFL going right now. I'm not saying they're the best team overall. I'm just saying if you were to ask in this moment, they are the two best teams. Some news out of the Green and Gold on, I think it was Saturday. AC Leonard has been signed to the practice squad. I think he is going to end up playing here pretty quick. In 2023, he played in all 18 games, had 46 defensive tackles, 12 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. I think this is due to maybe Noah Taylor probably being out for the season. I really don't know. That team hasn't said much. They also signed 5 others through the practice squad. You get an expanded practice squad after the NFL cuts and all that. So, but AC Leonard's a big signing, Gager. He brings a lot of experience, a lot of sacks to this team. And like I said, when you're rolling, this is quite the addition for the EE.
Yeah, I mean, any little extra boost you can get, especially at this time, going into, again, the importance of the next 2 games for the EE. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Saturday, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to going.
It's got that, I think it was Dusty talking about the weather, too. Like, it's going to be that 14, 15 degree.
Perfect fall.
Yeah,
it's like everybody calls it football weather.
Football weather, yeah.
But you know what's awesome, too, though? Like, it's got a playoff vibe already. Something we haven't felt here since 2019.
Oh, it's been way too long to not have, like, those nice end-of-the-year playoff implication games that, you know, every time they touch the ball on either side, it means so much more, you know?
Yeah.
And it gets the fans way more engaged into the game, too, which is good. Hopefully they can, I'm not sure about how ticket sales are going right now, but I'm sure by Saturday, we're probably looking somewhere close to the previous game.
Yeah, let's pack that house. It's such a big game. Winnipeg's, I think they've won 10 straight against the Elks. So if you can pack that
awesome.
barn. And like I said, Campus Clash can be a lot of students there. It's going to be a good time. The tailgate's going to be buzzing. Our own YouTube Trev and Zachticum will be at the tailgate there hanging out. So make sure to go visit them. And just one last note on the CFL. The Riders have signed American running back Raquel Armstead, who was released a few weeks ago. I think our first week on the show from the Ottawa Red Blacks. He was having a good season, but seems like he's a little bit of trouble outside of football and a little hard to deal with. So an interesting signing for sure by the Riders. We'll get to the NFL recap after Aaron Grymes at 2:00. But I do want to talk to you, Joaquin and Zachticum here, because there's 2 events on the weekend that were outstanding, and you guys are kind of our experts in-house. Let's start with F1. Your guy, Oscar Piastri, picks up the dub there in Baku. And I have a question for you, but first of all, your overall assessment of what we saw in Baku.
Great race. The very exciting qualifying. It looked to be, the chance for McLaren to really, or Lando to really put some pressure back on Max. Right?
Yeah.
And then in Q3, hitting the yellow flag and not being able to put in a solid lap puts him to 15th. He ends up even passing Max, finishing 4th. Unbelievable race. Piastri from the race prior shows tremendous patience, tremendous racecraft to keep Leclerc behind him. We get a huge crash with Checo and Carlos Sainz, and I think the biggest story of the whole weekend is the performance of the rookies. Colapinto and the Bear Man just
top 10 finish.
Unreal what they were able to do, right? Obviously the crash aided them to get into the top 10, but still both of them performing great in qualifying. And I'd love to talk to Tim Haraney because Alex Albon, who's been the big dog at Williams for a while now, finally it looks like he's going to have some pressure from a second driver other than Latifi like or Logan Sargent like partner that just doesn't put the pressure on their teammate like you see on other teams.
Yeah, I know. It's just seeing Colapinto's from Argentina.
Yeah, first Argentinian driver in 20 years, I think. So there's something like that. I got to look up the exact stats, but I was seeing some stuff.
And F1 is huge in Argentina, so they're probably loving this right now.
Nuts. Yeah, there might be a race. It's Brazil, but yeah, there might be a race in Argentina if he keeps going like that.
And before we get to Aaron Grymes here in the next segment, UFC was at the Sphere in Vegas. That looked, I don't know if you saw it, Gager, but
I saw some.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
What an event, and there's 2 fights on this card that were probably, one was the fight of the year for me. The other one was the main event where Merab dominates Sugar Sean O'Malley. And Zachticum, you're a UFC guy here. What did you make of the main event, first of all?
I thought the main event was really good. For more casual fans who just watch those big events, I was saying this to you before the show, but it's a little bit harder to try and watch somebody who is so, I guess, big in the sport. Like Sugar Sean is probably one of the biggest names right now in the UFC. He's got the swagger. He fights. He backs it up and everything. And he eventually became champ, and it only threw him up into superstardom. But the grappler striker matchup, Sugar being like one of the best strikers, if not the best in the UFC, it was a little bit difficult to watch in the sense of I put my mind in sort of a casual viewer's kind of vision, and it was a little bit boring because there was no striking or not much striking or knockouts or anything like that. But technically, it was an amazing fight to watch for me. I personally loved watching that fight because Merab Dvalishvili just kept wanting to take down his courage. Like he discouraged him from even throwing, and Sugar usually knocks him out,
and he
right?
was toying with him, kissing him on the back, and then kind of like when he swung at him, he kind of did the whole like you can't see me and all that. And I love the grapplers. I'll say that. I think it was a fantastic fight, and that guy just has a motor that doesn't stop. Like, and I was telling you this too, like. For me in UFC, you can be the champ, you can be a really good striker, but if you have no ground game and you meet a guy like Merab, you're done.
Yeah.
Because Sean O'Malley, you saw him in the 4th and the 5th when he went to his corner, hunched over, just out of breath. He just couldn't handle it anymore. But quickly, let's get to the fight of the night, which was, where is it here? Daniel Zellhuber and Esteban Ribovic. Like, Zachticum, those guys just went toe to toe, fist to fist, and Zellhuber, I'll give him credit. He was knocked silly there, and he stayed on his feet for like a minute and took punishment, and he rebounded, which was the most impressive thing. That for me was one of the best fights I've ever seen in the UFC.
I have to second that. That was an amazing, amazing fight. And Zellhuber, like, he lost the fight, of course, but he brought that Mexican fighting spirit, which the night was about. They're celebrating Mexican Independence Day for UFC Noche there, and Zellhuber being the Mexican up against Ribovic, who was just throwing cement at him. Like, his hands were cement, and you could feel the power through the screen. I was jumping for joy, and that was such an amazing fight. Like, I've never seen anything like that. That fight definitely goes down as fight of the night, but also, like you said, maybe fight of the year. But I have the Gaethje Holloway one right neck and neck with that.
That was amazing.
Just that last 10 seconds. Come on, Gaethje. We're doing this and just knocking him out in the phone box. But that was insane. If you guys haven't watched that highlight of Zellhuber just taking a beating, and he didn't even fall. Like, he stayed up, and then he started throwing hands back. You got to see that, if you're not a fight fan.
Go watch the replay. Big Maple says Zellhuber, Ribovic fight of the year, and he also says, hot take, Merab did the same thing GSP always did. I said what I said, and it's true. That's how GSP won a lot of his fights, but until you can beat it, like, what's wrong with it? I love the grappler, but we're just ahead of Aaron Grymes here coming up, but first, here's Zach with a EST Sports Update.
Right now, it's the Oilers rookies up against the Jets rookies in Penticton. It's 1-0 Jets heading into the third period. And out in New York, goaltender Ilya Sorokin is expected to be good for the start of the NHL season. The 29-year-old underwent back surgery in the offseason after posing a .909 save percentage all through last year. For Monday Night Football tonight, it's the Eagles versus the Falcons at 6:15. Lieutenant Eric will be down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road, where you could catch him for every Monday and Thursday Night Football throughout the entire NFL season. The Carolina Panthers have announced that there will be benching quarterback Bryce Young for Andy Dalton next Sunday. Through 2 games so far this season, Bryce, the former 2023 first overall pick, threw for 245 yards and is 31 for 56 in passing. 25-year-old Jermaine Johnson has confirmed that he suffered a right Achilles tear in the Jets win last night. The edge rusher came to social media this morning to announce the injury. And just after the break, Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage will continue EST Afternoons, being joined by Edmonton Elks' defensive assistant, Aaron Grymes. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and that was your EST update.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road. Park Mazda does.
Celebrate the grand opening of Sit and Sleep and discover a revolutionary way to shop for mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, you'll get free local delivery on any mattress over $5.99 and receive a bamboo cooling mattress protector. Get grand opening savings now with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness.
It's 1:46 here on EST Afternoons. I'm Hernan Salas, joined by Joaquin Gage and Zach Kubusch behind the camera. Make sure you hit us up on the EST text line, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat as well, as we're happy to bring in Edmonton Elks defensive assistant Aaron Grymes to the show. Aaron, my guy, how are things? How you doing, man? You settling in there? It looks like you are.
I'm settling in, man. I've been here a long time, but busy. Busy's better than unemployed. I'll take that. I also want to apologize to Zach. He sent me an email making sure I'd be on here on time today.
Yeah.
Didn't read the email until I was getting on, but I did have alerts set, so I wasn't going to be late.
That's great. That's great. Coming off the bye week here, Aaron, I know the boys and you guys hit the field yesterday for a short practice. How did the team look?
Look good. Refreshed. You know how it is. Honey, you've been here, man. After the bye week, guys are happy to see each other again. They're recharged, right? Their batteries are recharged and ready to keep this run going.
Aaron, so coming off a bye week, especially in a situation where, you know, there's playoff aspirations on both sides of the ball this weekend, back to back. What does practice look like this week? And is there game? What are you trying to do to expose maybe some of the deficiencies that you see in a Blue Bombers team?
I think for practice more so looks like being smart with guys being on the bye week, right? So you come back, you don't want to overdo it just because they're rested, right? Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of the bye week. But it's also given, coach and staff a little bit more time to dive into what Winnipeg does well and what they do not so well, right? But we're talking about a team who, we find ourselves on a bit of a heater right now. You look over there at Winnipeg, and they're obviously doing the same exact thing with what they got going on. So it'll be a good matchup for sure.
Aaron, what are the Bombers? What are you seeing from the Bombers offensively that's got them on this heater, as you alluded to, as the Elks are offensively?
Well, I think you look at a team that's finding chemistry in their identity, right? Like you heard about the training camp, right? A lot of guys were not practicing or were missing practices. It's hard to find that chemistry between wide receiver and quarterback or running back, whatever the case may be, when guys aren't practicing. So they had to find, go through those lumps early in the season, but you can tell now that they're starting to get on that same page, right? Timing is more on, blocking schemes are better. And I think some of that comes with just working with each other for a little bit longer now.
Aaron, you've been in the league for a long period of time. Just looking at the games this weekend, and, if you're a betting man and looking at them, they seem to go completely the other way. What's your overall sense? Does this give you a little bit more stoke the flames, knowing that anything can happen each and every game? And then I think you mentioned even before, you basically, your destiny's in your own hands at this point.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal memory right there. Yeah, right. So you watch those games, and it certainly gives you a little bit of hope, understanding. You just got to be better than the other team on that day, right? It's not like it's a 7-game series. And we play 4 West games in our last 5 games of the season, which are the teams we're going to be competing directly with for playoff spots. So if we can take care of business ourselves, I know that sounds cliche, but if we can just take this one game at a time, take care of that business, by ourselves, then we're not going to worry about what somebody else does for us.
AG, talking about these, this last go around here of these 5 games with the playoffs in your own hands, and for a team and a group of guys that, hasn't been in this position in the last 2 years previously, how do you get the team prepared for that? Like, don't get too high, don't get too low situations.
Well, I think I got to revert to J-Jack on that. He's doing a great job of just understanding that it's not about, where we were, or it's more about where we're trying to go, right? And we got to get there by taking it one step at a time, right? Sure, we understand the playoff implications, but we're not going to overhype that. What we're going to overhype is the fact that we have to beat Winnipeg on Saturday, and without doing that, we don't get to where we're trying to go. So make sure we, handle this the right way.
So Saturday, 5 p.m., Commonwealth Stadium. Weather looks like, we call it football weather. I know you're from the States, but I can't do the conversions. I need my phone, but 14, 15 degrees. Okay. Looks like there's going to be more so the same amount of people coming to this game. How do you get in there and get that crowd on your side and just show the opposing team that you've entered a house of pain, and this is going to be a long, long evening for them?
From the very first kickoff, you got to set the tone right away with special teams, and then whether you're on offense or defense, right? And once you get that crowd to start cheering for you, I can promise you we certainly feel that, on the field. Gage, I'm sure you probably could feel that, obviously, in your playing days as well. Like, when that crowd is roaring, it just makes the environment that much better. It makes it feel better when you make a play, right? And it feels worse when you go into somebody's house and they're heckling you like that. So I think you get that crowd involved right away. Obviously, the last home game, the environment was outstanding. Sounds like it could be the same this week.
Aaron Grymes from the Edmonton Elks joining us here on EST afternoons. One big addition was announced this weekend. AC Leonard returns to the green and gold. He had a big year last year, was tied for the team lead in sacks with Cerezda with 12. But can you just talk about what AC means to this team going forward here? For me, it's such a great ad because he's a veteran guy who's played a ton of games and a ton of playoff games and kind of familiar with what they're doing there in Edmonton with the green and gold.
It's just another weapon, right? Like, even watching him practice yesterday, just a few reps he took, it's more so just about getting those legs back underneath him, right? Because he's still a dog. He's still the same guy he was last year. Great guy to be around as well. Family man, but he's out there tearing guys up already, in terms of his skill set. So to have that, another weapon that you can deploy out there against Winnipeg, come on now. Whenever you can get a guy like AC Linders, you bring him in.
Yeah, I know, definitely. And probably a little hard for you because you spend a little bit of time with Winnipeg this year, and then now you're going to be facing a lot of guys that you were kind of standing with. So let's jump to the NFL here. Your Seahawks, EG, they're rolling.
Come on, baby. It's Seattle sports.
Boy.
That's awesome to see, man. Gino obviously is playing good. DK had a great week after, kind of a quiet week one. That was good to see.
Yeah, and your Eagles in action tonight. You got a prediction?
I don't know about if I have a score prediction, but I don't see the Falcons hanging in there with the Eagles. They got too much firepower offensively. You know what I mean? And then defensively, they got some playmakers on that side too. So I'd like to see the Eagles win tonight, obviously. I'll cheer for them as long as they're not playing against the Seahawks.
Hey, make sure you rub it in with the Canadian scout there, Franz Clarkson, because I know he's a big Atlanta Falcons fan.
I'll make sure Franz knows, who's coming out on top. I'll head over there when I get done off this.
Yeah, for sure. You make sure you say hi for me. AG, thank you for taking the time to join us. I know you guys kick off day one tomorrow in preparation for Saturday's big game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Like always, nothing but success this weekend on Saturday, and I'll probably see you down there.
I hope so, man. Don't be no stranger now just because you're not in the building every day, okay?
I'll be there Saturday, and I'll be sure to say hi. AG, thanks a lot. Say hi to everyone down there.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you guys later.
See you, AG.
Aaron Grymes, defensive assistant with the Edmonton Elks. I can tell he's in the second floor, and he's got his own office now. And that's. Do you think it's he spent about, I'd say, 3 weeks to a month with the Bombers? Think he's got some inside there?
Oh, probably, yeah, for sure. Like, well, how couldn't he have not have? Just hope he gets you an Uber after the game. That's all. That's all I wanted to ask him before he left.
I live super duper close. I can crawl home if I need to. Hey, we got the biggest event of the year coming up tomorrow, Gager.
I know.
Can you believe it's here? The ESTs.
I can't believe it's actually a thing.
That's what I was telling Dusty. Like, I was just sitting here. I'm like, I can't believe we're actually yeah. In fairness, I'm pretty new here, so I'm just kind of being a presenter, and I'm going to be there for all the fun. But these guys have put a lot of work into it. And I know when they started talking about it like months ago, I was like, "There's no way they're doing this." I thought it was a joke, but it's going to be great. I can't wait, man.
When the brainstorming that goes on in the meetings, like that they said, and this came up, and I came in, I go, "What are you guys doing?" And they go, "Yeah, we're doing this. This is happening." I go, "Yeah, whatever." I thought they were kidding, but tomorrow night.
Oh man,
it's we got to go over our presentation. Jeez.
Well, because we can get something scripted, but I'm like, let's just maybe me and you talk after the show and kind of figure something out to have some fun. We know what we're presenting. I know there's a lot of fun things planned, and I know there's a lot of people going. I think my old Elks boss is going.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it'll be great to see good old Dahmer there. I haven't seen him in a while.
If you win, there's a nice little cigar store just down the street, right? That you can have a celebratory cigar on the way to Hudson's afterwards.
Oh, what I'm intrigued by is just the acceptance speeches. Like, who's going to bring the heat? Who's going to be kind of the shy one? Do you know what I mean? And it's just, we got kind of an email sent to us about the kind of the schedule, the process of the whole event. It's going to be top notch. Like, I know the Emmys were yesterday. It ain't going to be nothing compared to what we have for the ESTs. And it seems like everybody picked up their suits. I know Jay walked in today saying he got his suit. Zachticum picked up his suit on the weekend. Little disappointed it's not corduroy.
Yeah, I wish I could go with some corduroy, but I don't think Maddie would like that. So I don't want to get on his nerves. I don't want to make him mad or anything. So I guess I'm dressing okay.
If you need tickets still, hit up Matthew Wanick at matt@edmontonsports.com. And you can also
StubHub. No, I don't think so.
Will there be scalpers out there? Hey, who needs tickets?
I might
$5. Doors open at 6:15. It's going to be a whale of a time. And for all you attending, there's something special for sure happening here at Edmonton Sports Talk. We're at 42 thumbs up, Gager. We got about 120 consistently watching. So the math doesn't add up to me. So if there's 120 watching, let's get close to. How about last time we said let's get to. Did you say Wayne?
Yeah, I said Wayne.
Well, we were at Lemieux first.
Okay, 42. We're at a Strudwick right now.
No, Strudwick's 43.
43. Never mind.
42 would be Ryan
42?
O'Mara. How about that name?
That's unbelievable that you pulled that. I can't remember. That's a solid training camp number 42.
Oh, 100%. Patrick Thorson wore it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know why I know a lot of the number 42s, but
yeah.
And then Zachticum quickly went over to look at the score for us. So as soon as he sits back down, he can jump on and give us an update on the Oilers' Young Guns games that they're taking on the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, it's still 1-0. There's 12 and a half minutes left in the third period. And of course, I mean, it's the Young Stars Classic, Young Guns Classic. They're going to be changing goalies. And I think the Jets changed their goalie this period as well. And I mean, both teams are probably rolling all three goalies, but 1-0.
And
Jets.
To close it out, and then the real team gets going here on Wednesday with medicals and fitness testing, and they'll hit the ice Thursday. First game on Sunday, Gager. Hockey is back. That's going to wrap up number one here. Big thanks to Aaron Grymes for joining us here. Coming up in hour two, we'll get to an NFL recap, and Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford joins us here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. Coming up next, it's a sports update with Zach Kubusch.
With just 12 and a half minutes to go, it's the Oilers rookies down 1-0 against the Jets rookies out in Penticton. The regular season kicks off in early October, but the first preseason game is September 22nd against the Jets as well in New York. It's goaltender Ilya Sorokin expected to be good for the start of the season. He underwent back surgery in the offseason after posing a .909 save percentage in the regular season last year. For Monday Night Football, it's the Eagles versus the Falcons. Catch that game at 6:15 down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where Lieutenant Eric will be every Monday and Thursday night throughout the entire NFL season down on Fort Road. The Carolina Panthers announced that they will bench Bryce Young for Andy Dalton next Sunday. Through 2 games this season, the former 2023 first overall pick threw for 245 yards and is 31 for 56 in passing. And news is coming out about Kareem Hunt possibly making a visit in Kansas City. That comes from Adam Schefter on Twitter. Kareem Hunt in his career has over 1,000 carries for over 4,400 yards. Was drafted back in 2017. Right after the break, Hernan and Gager will get into the NFL recap over the weekend, and in just about 20 minutes, Elks quarterback Trey Ford will be joining the fellas. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Hour 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's EST Afternoons. Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, and Zachticum here. Trey Ford coming up at 2:20. Reminder, you can listen to us on edmontonsportstalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. We're up to 54 thumbs up, Gager.
All right.
Let's get to, let's call it 87 today in honor of Sidney Crosby.
Oh, yeah, good one.
If we can get there, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios, and text us at 780-218-9999 or get to us on the Nasty Chat. The NFL this weekend, Gager, a lot of duds, a lot of upsets, a lot of surprises.
Before I get to it, I just want to ask Zach, what does Superman, where does Superman change from Clark Kent to become Superman? What does he change in?
A phone booth.
There we go. Okay.
I said phone box.
You said phone box. And I was like, you're so young. I go, does this kid even know what a phone booth is? So I was
Probably not.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a payphone, Zach?
Well, have I ever used a payphone?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever actually have. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever.
Box?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking boxing in the phone booth. And then after I said it, I'm like, is it a phone box or a phone booth?
That's good. No. Okay. So you knew what it was. I was curious. I was more curious to see if you actually ever A, been in one or used one, and B, knew what it was actually called. So
I don't even think I know how to use a payphone.
That's a whole segment there, just things from the 80s, 90s that Zach has no idea.
Yeah, we should bring a rotary phone and see if he can call us.
I know how to call one of those.
Okay.
If I had to.
Okay, good.
Are payphones still 35 cents? Do you even know?
35. I always thought they were 25.
Wasn't it 35? No.
That was they upped the price, but
wasn't it?
No, it was 25 for a long time. Yeah.
But then they bumped it.
Yeah.
And I don't even. Does anyone know what a payphone costs now?
If there are any.
I don't think there is, right?
They're all out.
They're all gone.
Out of commission.
Yeah.
They're all like emergency phones now.
On my travels through the CFL in a few cities, I saw some payphones. Now, I don't know if they were working or not, but
yeah. They were always pretty nasty. I don't know why everyone burnt them. Like they always someone take a lighter to them. How long did you have to sit there and melt that thing? Like it's crazy. Probably not the most sanitary things to put to your ear either.
No, just thinking about it now after the pandemic and everything.
Gross. So gross.
Did you ever go and like when you were younger and call the girl you liked and you just sat on the payphone for an hour?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of there, and then now that you brought it up, like how many other people were doing the same thing?
Same thing, just talking right in there. And saying, gross. It's just a petri dish, those things.
We had it hard, Zachary. We had it hard back in the growing up. We had to use payphones.
Yeah, like I've looked at one. I used to just go up to the one near my junior high's convenience store or something and just like take it off just to hear the dial tone. But like feeling it was just so like apparently though back in 2022 CTV said that there's only 77 payphones left in Edmonton.
Really?
Only 77. It's probably much less now.
That seems like it's pretty high.
Probably where you find Trev reading the phone book that's attached.
So Zach's never used a payphone, and our buddy YouTube Trev discovered the phone book and thinks it's awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
NFL studs and duds. It wasn't I mean, there were some pretty good games. That the Chiefs game I thought was great, exciting at least.
Nice bounce back by Burrow.
Yeah, I think so.
Bengals.
Surprising. I think my most surprising one was the Raiders beating the Ravens. I thought that was, and the Saints just. Oh my gosh, and that's part of me was like, because again, the Dallas Cowboys are the Leafs of the NFL.
Yes, they are.
And just the amount of they're so polarizing, that team, but you can almost feel the happiness and the complete despair of Dallas Cowboy fans when that's happening, like, because they just got destroyed. They just got completely abused.
Their home opener
in that state-of-the-art stadium.
So I'll kind of chirp myself here. The Saints offense last week, I was like, it was Carolina, man. But
yeah, I know.
They went in there 6 touchdowns on their first 6 possessions.
Crazy. Like just lit them up.
Kamara, 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 passing. How about the Cardinals? Tommy's Cardinals really came to play. I really like Marvin Harrison Jr. It was funny because, and again, you always panic after every week in certain markets, and this guy's a bust. He's not fast. He can't get open. He had 2 touchdowns like that. He had 2 receptions for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns for Marvin Harrison Jr.
And that's what that game I did think that that was kind of the upset I was looking at, just because of the injuries to that Rams team. They're in trouble, I think.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp out now. He was in a walking boot as he left the stadium.
So their 2 biggest offensive threats are out for the next 4 to 6.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good news for the Niners.
Yeah.
Who blew it in Minnesota.
Really blew
and
it.
There's no shame in losing to that Sam Darnold, is there, Gage?
I guess.
If it wasn't for Fred Warner in that game, and all Niner fans can attest to this, it would have been a blowout. He created a fumble on the 1-yard line when Aaron Jones was about to run it in, and then he gets an interception in the red zone. So Fred Warner gets full marks. The rest of the team, not so much. Another disappointing. Well, it's not disappointing, but the Lions losing to the Bucs. I think we both picked the Lions to win earlier in the week. Aiden Hutchinson, though, 4.5 sacks on the game. That guy is an absolute beast.
Yeah, no, that was a surprising game. I thought the Lions would have that, but I mean, it's a lot of parity in the NFL, which is good, I think. I don't think you can say there's one real Super Bowl favorite after. I mean, it's only a couple weeks, but you can't really say that there's one. Is there?
No. Well, I thought it was the Niners, but obviously
maybe
not.
KC.
I mean,
they're only
still,
they're winning by under 3 points or 3.5 points each game, right? So,
and I know I'm going to sound a bit of like a hater here, but they get a lot of help from the refs.
Everyone says that.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Like a couple one PI call for sure, but and then if you look at the AFC North, Gager, the Steelers are 2-0. The Browns are 1-1. Bengals and Ravens both 0-2 on the season. Who would have had that?
No, nobody.
And I think the Steelers just they're not a fun team to watch. Their offense is not very good. Nico Collins on the Sunday Nighter. Is that guy a player or what? 135 yards at TD. In week 1, he had 107. He just catches everything comes his way, Gager.
Yeah. Who do you got in the Monday Nighter?
I'm going Eagles. I don't trust Kirk Cousins.
Why is he?
I saw the first game against Pittsburgh. He was awful, Gage. Like awful.
I remember watching, I think it was called Quarterback, the docu-series, and he's on there talking a little bit.
With Mahomes and Marcus Mariota.
Neat guy, like pretty interesting. But I don't know how he keeps getting these deals. Like he's one of the richest men on the planet with these deals.
But I mean, because like he can manage a game well. Like he did it in Minnesota. He just can't get you over that hump, right? So I think it's the same thing here with Atlanta. And they paid him a lot of money. They also drafted a high-end quarterback as well that's waiting in the wings. And I'm telling you this, if he keeps playing like he did in week 1, like if they struggle today offensively, that switch might be coming a lot sooner than later. And he might not be happy about it. Well, he wasn't happy when they drafted Penix,
I know.
Right?
There was a big thing that he wasn't happy. But look, how old's Kirk Cousins? I'm not sure how old he is. 36. So, I mean... He's on the back 9 for sure. Probably close, closer to the 19th hole than anything else in his career. But I didn't mind it. Like this, you got a veteran guy that's been around, has seen a lot, can kind of mentor the young guy. But when he said, I don't like this, you got to have internal competition. Especially, they can't just put all their eggs in one basket with Kirk Cousins.
But when you come in at that age and for that money, you're just like, and I don't know if there was a competition, if it was just that this is your team for now. But I mean, if you're 0-3 at one point or 0-4, what are you going to do? You have a young guy that can possibly create some excitement, some buzz, and bring you wins. So one young guy that I felt terrible for yesterday was Bryce Young. Like you're seeing receivers run the routes. They don't get the ball. Yeah. They're coming off, throwing their helmets. You're seeing him try to talk to guys on the sideline. They're not really paying attention to him. It's just, and breaking this morning, obviously, and it's official. The Panthers are benching him for veteran Andy Dalton. And I think this is the best thing for him right now. Sit back, relax a bit, kind of watch the game from the sidelines and just let it go because he is struggling mightily. He had 84 yards yesterday. And some of the highlights that are showing of him, like he was just so off, Gager. Like the confidence is nowhere there.
Yeah. Smitty the welder in the NASCAR. Gager, don't you see it? You have to watch one of their games. Refs are on the Chiefs' side every game. I did watch most of it. Maybe the refs are just scared of the Swifties retaliating, right? That could be something. I'll pay way more attention next Chiefs game. I'm going to watch and see if it's true.
I think the Chiefs they're to that point where they win so much and they're so good that you're just sick of them. It was like the Patriots when Tom Brady and Belichick were winning all the time, right?
There's a confidence about that team too, right? That's when you have Patrick Mahomes too. He's so good. Like it's so funny because he doesn't look that mobile. Like he doesn't look like he can, but he's just so perfect as a quarterback. Like how he evades everything, finds people, even like last second. It's crazy.
It's like that sixth sense he has. Like he just senses it, and he can move. He knows where to move. He can underhand it. He can throw it left-handed.
Well, the subtle adjustments of how he delivers the ball, like it'll come from high, low, down. Like it's crazy.
What's up with Travis Kelce here? He's been quiet the first two games.
I think everyone talked about how at the beginning of the season, like there was a comparison between the Edmonton Oilers now and the Kansas City Chiefs, where they've gone through a few grueling regular seasons. Does it? When to pick your spots.
Yeah,
and I think Kelce, there was a time when he was a beast blocking and stuff, and you just don't see that, right? He's not full out on the routes. He's picking his spots where he's going to be effective. I think when the game's on the line, though, I think those guys have played together so long that Mahomes will always revert back to one of his favorite receivers at that point, and I think you'll see Kelce involved in the offense way more.
Do you think the love bugs caught up to him a bit?
How does it not? I you know what? I did watch.
I'm kidding, by the way. It's great that he's in love.
Yeah, it's great. I was watching a little bit about the Beckham documentary. I watched the first episode of that, and I was going through the whole when him and Posh first met, and all he wanted to do was go see her and stuff, and I mean, documentaries usually paint whoever they're talking about in a good light.
Yeah.
But he was getting a lot of flack for not being fully committed on the football side. But he wasn't the greatest footballer of all time. He was really, really good. But it wasn't his fault they lost against Argentina in that game.
Great documentary.
Have you watched the whole thing?
Yeah. What was it him that said that he asked for someone to go get Posh so he can meet her, or was it the other way around? Do you remember?
Oh, when they first met?
Yeah.
No, I think it was in the players' room after a game, and she was there, and so they started talking at that point, and then she started coming to games, and they knew right away that they liked each other, right? So, and then Bex was spending all his cash, and it was great. It's I got to watch the rest. I just got
great,
one.
Man.
Yeah, okay.
And I think both have done really well for themselves.
Oh, they're pretty good. Yeah, I think they're just fine. Like, I remember the Spice Girls.
Oh,
Zach, you remember the Spice Girls?
I have zero clue who the Spice Girls are.
Jeez.
No, I'm kidding. I've heard of them. I just don't know who they are.
You know what a pager is, right?
I know what it does. Well, of course, the Ice Cube song, Today's a Good Day or whatever it is, right? He talks about his pager a lot and stuff like that. I don't know. I love 80s and 90s or 70s and 80s stuff, but pagers, like, what they do is literally they just beep you, right?
Yeah.
With a number.
With the number. Yeah. Oh, so it's like you just read the number, like
it'll say, like, you'd say when you're trying to get your marijuana from your drug dealer back in the day, you'd dial the beeper and you'd have your number, and then you'd have like 911, like it'd be important. I had a beeper. Did I?
I never had a beeper.
No, my friend had a beeper. It was crazy that he had one. Yeah. Like, you look like a drug dealer.
Yeah, no, I was never that important to have a beeper.
My dad had one. I was like, I tried to he never answered.
It looked cool because you always had that one buddy who had it, and he just look and then go to a payphone and call.
It's like when you go to the Olive Garden, they give you that big huge thing that beeps when they're it's like, yeah, my table's ready.
Doctors are dealers. Yeah. On the Nasty Chat, Big Maple says, if the book is going to give us plus 450 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl with all the blatant referee bias, I'll take it. And Smitty the Welder says 0 holding calls in the Super Bowl. Come on. No O-line goes a full game without a holding call, especially with Bosa on the other side. I ain't going to disagree with that. Their right tackle moves before the ball is snapped almost.
Oh, really?
Oh, all the time, Gager. All the time. But we got to get to a quick break here. Is coming up next. We will hear from Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford as he joins us here on EST Afternoons. But first up, here's a sports update with Zachticum.
Just a couple minutes ago, the Jets scored against the Oilers to make it 2-0 in the Young Stars Classic. Preseason for the Edmonton Oilers is September 22nd. Wow, so close. Out in New York, goaltender Elias Sorokin is expected to be good for the start of the season. The 29-year-old underwent back surgery in the offseason after posing a .909 save percentage last year for the Islanders. For Monday Night Football, it's the Eagles and the Falcons. That game starts at 6:15, and Lieutenant Eric will be down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action. Catch him every Monday and Thursday night down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road throughout the entire NFL season. Carolina Panthers will be benching Bryce Young for Andy Dalton next Sunday. Through 2 games this season, the former 2023 first-round pick has thrown 245 yards and is 31 for 56 in passing. 25-year-old Jermaine Johnson has been confirmed he suffered a right Achilles tear. The Jets' edge rusher came to social media this morning to announce his injury. Just after the break, Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford will be joining Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your EST update.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
At A&W, you can start the morning off right with a regular coffee and an egger of your choice for just $4.99. Bacon and egger or sausage and egger on a seeded bun or an English muffin? The choice is yours. But we know it'll be tasty either way. And to make matters even more delicious, this offer is available all day. But don't snooze on this deal. An egger and a regular coffee for only $4.99 is a limited time price. Available at participating A&W restaurants in Greater Edmonton.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
23 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. It is EST Afternoons. Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, as we're very excited to welcome in Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford to the show. Trey, how you doing, my man?
Good, Hernan. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, before we get to the football stuff, I saw you this weekend at the Good Old Country Music Awards here at Rogers Place. I thought you did excellent with McLeod Bethel Thompson, and then also saw Jared Daggy there and Dakota Prukop. How was that experience for you?
It was pretty fun, actually. I was, really nervous to do it, but happy I ended up doing it. It was a good time. Had some had the baby out there. Baby had fun. The wife had fun, and I was out there with the guys, which was also fun. So it was good all around.
Are you a big country guy?
I am, actually. I do actually like country music a lot.
Oh, who are your favorite artists?
My favorite has to be Luke Combs. Definitely most of his music I listen to.
Trey, bye week, obviously, and I've been hearing rumblings about little competition you and your brother, especially gaming wise. Is it, just to let fans know, is it a over the whole season? Do you guys keep stats? Who's leading right now in the online battle between you and your brother?
I would probably say him because, he has, 6 interceptions, in the running for defensive MVP. And I've really only played about a game and a half. So, I feel like there's not much to compare. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Not that I'm not playing well, but, I just think he has, more play time this year, and has been performing at a high level. So I would definitely say him. But, I know I can play with him. I'm not worried about, him out there. I'm just going to go play football, and it's going to be fun. We definitely compete on and off the field in everything, not just football. But, we both know it's business when we get on the field.
So, Trey, is there any chirping going on, anything on the line here ahead of these 2 games with your brother?
No, honestly, we don't really trash talk to each other that much. I feel like we used to do it a lot more, but, haven't really. I went to Banff on the bye week and he was there and everything. But, we didn't really chirp each other, just kind of, enjoy each other's company and had a good time.
Trey, this is the first time you guys are going head-to-head, though, right?
Yes. We played a little bit my first year preseason against each other, but I think it was like 1 drive, so nothing crazy.
Trey, so it was very interesting to me that, and a lot of people, I think, that after the last game, essentially you're announced as the starting quarterback. Do you like kind of that whole situation, knowing that you have some time, you can really dial in, focus on your next opponent, and what have you been doing to kind of prepare for this huge game coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to get that information and just being able to get all those reps in practice, right? And not that I'm going to change my preparation. I'm going to prepare the same, whether I'm starting or not. So, the mental preparation is similar, but it's going to be nice to get the full first team reps throughout the week and prepare to play this week, and I'm excited to play.
Trey, there's such a good energy surrounding this team and in the city. You saw it in the last game here against Calgary. The crowd was buzzing. The lower bowl was pretty much full, and they're expecting the same this upcoming Saturday. What's that feeling like for you and the guys there now that there's this playoffs feeling right now here in Edmonton regarding the Edmonton Elks?
Oh yeah, I think it's amazing, and I'm for the players and the coaches, it's amazing. But I think most importantly for the fans, right? Because the support they've given us over the last 3 years, we haven't been a super great football team, being 4-14, I think, back-to-back years. And we were still able to get fans out, and now that we're able to get some wins, we're able to get more of them back out and, supporting the Elks, and I think that's super big for us. And I'm just happy that we can provide the fans with that kind of energy and momentum and, them helping us out when we play, being loud, having that home field advantage is awesome for us. So it's kind of a win-win for both sides.
Trey, we talked with Aaron Grymes earlier. I'll ask you the same question. Obviously, this being the most important game of the season up to this point, that, you mentioned fans are starting to come back and watch these games and get involved. How important is it when you get that first ball to really do everything possible in your power to get, hopefully that 32,000 people on your side?
Yeah, I feel like I've had their support, for a long time. And I also feel like when I get out there, I don't have to do anything special. I feel like I just have to do my job and not try to do too much, right? Once you start trying to do too much is when bad things happen. So I'm just going to, do my job, try to get the ball to the receivers, be efficient getting in and out of the huddle and just, trying to avoid penalties, stay away from penalties, and just play, smart football and execute at a high level. I think that's the goal for me going out there this weekend.
Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford joining us here on EST Afternoons. Trey, you guys control your own destiny here to close out the season. A lot of games against West teams that you are chasing. It's something this team hasn't experienced up to this point. How important is it to channel all that excitement, not get too high and not get too low during this stretch drive?
Yeah, I feel like me as a person, I'm pretty level-headed, so I don't really get too high or too low, but it is nice to, control our own destiny. Would have been ideal to get, a win or two earlier on and help us and put us in better spots. Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, regardless of what your record is in the regular season, you get to the point where you have to go to playoffs, right? If you're a team in that spot and in the playoffs, you have to win. So our playoffs just started a little bit sooner, right? We just have to continue to win, and we can't afford to lose. At some point, you have to get in that mindset, in that mode. So really, controlling our own destiny is nice, but it didn't matter because it was going to happen at some point. We just have to do it a little bit earlier now, but I think we're definitely capable of it.
Trey, just without too much of a peek behind the curtain, what is your main focus going up against the Blue Bombers, and what do you have to do to be successful and helping your team secure a victory?
I think the big thing for me is just, being consistent, being confident in, my decisions and throws. I was watching some film from last year when we played them, and I'm like, oh, man, I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe I missed this. Oh, I don't know how I didn't see this, right? And I'm watching my film from this year, and it's just a lot better. I feel like I'm, a lot better put together as just a quarterback in general. So I'm excited to see, the growth and the development just in me, and being able to go out there and know what I know now and get the ball out faster and get it to receivers and let them make plays instead of me trying to, make stuff happen.
Trey, adding to that, the last couple of years, the quarterback room here in Edmonton was very young, inexperienced. This year, how has it helped you having a pair of veteran quarterbacks like McLeod Bethel-Thompson and Dakota Prukop alongside you?
It's been good, just whether it's talking X's and O's with, McLeod and Dakota, or if it's even just talking life, just having somebody, who it was technically in my position, but now 10 years down the road, and just hearing the advice that they have on all things, not just football, has definitely been beneficial for me.
Great stuff, Trey. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to join us. Wish you all the success this week in preparations for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and, of course, all the success on Saturday and going forward here. Thanks, Trey.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good one.
That's Trey Ford, quarterback of your Edmonton Elks, who was at the Country Music Awards presenting him. And
he didn't understand my question.
No, you're talking about gaming. Like gamer.
Video. Didn't I say video gaming? I thought I said video games.
Yeah. I think he just misunderstood.
Okay.
He still gave a good answer.
He did give a good answer, but I was like, no. Xbox.
I know he's a big gamer.
You told me this.
Yeah,
so
he plays a lot with Zach Mathis and Jared Daggy, and they're playing that NCAA new football game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's kind of the popular game within the room, so I know a lot of the guys. And I've heard Trey's really, really good. So, yeah, it's a little, maybe next time we'll clear it up with him. But a big game for the Edmonton Elks coming up on Saturday. Day one will go tomorrow, walk through on Friday. Gager, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be there slinging the wieners, but I'm expecting another big crowd. And it's just, I was there for 2.5 years and we never really had that feeling of like, man, we're so close. Like, man, you can even host a home playoff game. Like, great, so yeah. Like I'm very happy for everybody there in the business and on the first floor, all the coaches and players, but it's just a different vibe. It's great to feel it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everyone likes a winner, right? And hearing from different people within the Elks organization, they can feel it too. There's definitely a change in atmosphere. I'd like to, at the end of the year, maybe we can talk to some of these guys, like the turning point. Tough to ask Trey that question right now because I know he's got a singular focus, but kind of turning points of the whole season, I think, was when he went in. I know it's kind of garbage time, but was able to put some points on the board. You heard him looking at his videos from last year saying, why didn't I see that? That's ridiculous. And now he's looking at going, okay, that's much better decision making, which, comes from experience. And I like the fact that here's a guy that can, has the ability to change a game by himself.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is allow people around me to have their best game too. I don't have to take the whole burden of the game on my shoulders. I can distribute it and make sure it's even throughout and make everyone feel part of this thing.
Well, 100%. And again, you have the quarterback group's awesome there. They, McLeod can go in, and it's great to have that system in place where. And it was no disrespect to the group before last year or the year before that, but it was a very young group and inexperienced, right? Yeah. Like if you're a young guy and you're looking for, how do I read this or what should I do here? Like they were all kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you have a guy like McLeod and Dakota, they've been around, they've seen it all, and they're like, okay, well, this is what I would do this and all that. So, and for me, it's a little satisfying because to Gage, when we were there, all we heard was, change the name, and it was this, and it was that, and we were all like, and listen, obviously there's always room for improvement in different parts of the atmosphere at the game, and I think they've done a wonderful job. Like Dino Days was awesome.
For you.
You have to deal with the Dino Nuggets.
Jesus.
But that's what it's just satisfying because we always said wins cures a lot.
Yeah.
And it's showing already. And like for those few jabronis out there that kept saying the Elks, it drove me crazy, and I couldn't really respond to anyone on Twitter. I couldn't really say anything, but it just bugged me so much. So now seeing this team win 5 of their last 6, control their own destiny, I'm so happy.
It's nice to have a few weeks at least of not hearing that they need to change the name. It's more the focus is on the actual football.
Yeah.
Instead of all the other things. And you know what? I think that having LT as the owner and leader now, Larry Thompson, he kind of solidifies that a little bit.
Of course.
Like there was always the community owned team. There's always those undercurrents. Is there going to be a team next year? You always hear that is completely gone now, and I think that's really, really important. I know the players, we talked to a few guys and said it's not that big a deal, but I can almost guarantee, okay, I can be here. If I have a family, I'm a young man with a family, and I'm going to play in a certain spot, I want to know that, and if I sign a few-year deal or whatever, I want to know that everything's secure over that period of time. That can cause you to it's not in the back of my mind. Where am I going to play in this? Am I going to have to find another job?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? How am I going to get my kids to the grade 2, right? So at least with that side of things, you don't have to worry about that.
No, and listen, it was going to turn.
Oh, yeah.
Like none of us knew when or how it was going to turn, but it happened after an 0-7 start. And, a lot of credit does need to go to G-Roy Simon and J-Jack because they've turned things around as well.
Yeah.
The way that they're approaching the game, the way they're approaching practices, the way they're approaching transactions. So there was always talent there. There was always a good group of people there. And and obviously I'm extremely biased having been part of the organization for 2.5 years, but I'm just over the moon happy for them. And I really hope, Gager, they push this. I hope it goes down to the last game. They're in that third spot, but fighting for a home field advantage. Can you just imagine a home game? The way the season started, the way the past 3 years have gone, this would be amazing.
Does Jay Milne finally get his wish and get the upper bowl filled?
Yeah, get the upper bowl filled. But I mean, just looking at it on TV in that Calgary game, the stadium looked awesome.
Yeah,
because you can't see the upper bowl anymore on TV. But just being there is going to be great. So hopefully everybody's going down there to support the green and gold as they look for a big win and snap an ugly 10-game losing streak they have versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's going to be a great game. Trey Ford is starting. Matthew Wanek is over the moon happy with that news as well. But coming up next, we'll wrap up the show. We'll do this day in sports history, and we'll do some quick updates on the Oilers as well. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. Here's Zach with a sports update.
The Winnipeg Jets rookies have shut out the Edmonton Oilers rookies 2-0 in the Young Stars Classic. The Edmonton Oilers face the Jets for their first preseason game on the 22nd. In New York, goaltender Ilya Sorokin is expected to be good for the start of the NHL season. The 2014 third-round pick posed a .909 save percentage last year for the Islanders. For Monday Night Football, it's the Eagles versus the Falcons at 6:15. Lieutenant Eric is down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for that game, where you could catch him every Monday and Thursday night for all the NFL action this entire season. Carolina Panthers have announced that they will bench quarterback Bryce Young for Andy Dalton next Sunday. Through 2 games this season, Young posed 245 yards in throwing and was 31 for 56 in passing. 25-year-old Jermaine Johnson has been confirmed he suffered a right Achilles injury. The Jets edge rusher came to social media this morning to announce the injury. And just after the break, it's the final segment of EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your EST update.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama, the excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
7:42 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. It's EST afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum behind the camera. Currently, we're at 69 thumbs up. We said our goal today was 87 in honor of Sidney Crosby. So let's bump those up. We only need 18 more. That can be done. Got 120 watching. Let's go. Let's get her done.
Yeah. You don't want to end on a 69, right?
Zachticum, what's the update on the poll question?
For the poll on Sidney Crosby's contract, is he worth $8.7 million average? 87, funny enough, percent say yes.
Crazy.
13% say no, with 89 total votes on the YouTube chat.
Matt Hyman says, do you play NCAA football, Hernan? No. There needs to be an EST versus WST series with Dusty calling the game. There was talk of Huss and LTE ahead of the Bombers Riders back-to-back, but never happened. Matt, I hate to break this, but this is Tecmo building only. We don't play any of those new machines and new games, Gager. I can't handle those anymore.
You don't want to, man.
They're far too real, man.
Those
leave me with the arcade, man.
I got one of those rabbit holes on TikTok. I don't know how I got down this thing, but it's women in Call of Duty or lobbies. Like Call of Duty lobbies have to be the most racist, misogynist places on the planet. And these girls just slay them too, right? I can't believe what they're saying to these girls online. It's awful.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
I've never been on I wouldn't even know what that is, man, to be honest with you.
I don't know how it works in Call of Duty. Like I played a different game called Destiny, but there wasn't like cross chat with players that you were playing against. But this game, like everyone can talk, or once you get close to each other, you can start talking to them or something on other teams. And like guys, men are terrible. We're just awful people. Like they're make me a sandwich.
Well, there's no consequences. That's why.
Well, there should be, man. I can't believe they don't monitor that stuff. Like I mean, it would probably be awful because you'd have to boot. There'd be no one left to play after that.
I'm old school though. Like, why would you want to play a video game talking to people you don't know while you're playing? Like, I don't get that for the life of me.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't do it anymore, but I thought, because the technology to me was hilarious that you could actually do this. I go, I can't believe I'm playing with another kid from Vietnam here. It's crazy.
Well, it's all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing with the Maddens and this new NCAA. Like all the players on the Elks, like they're all at home, but they're playing against each other and trash talking. And
I know. I think Tommy plays he plays like Fortnite with Cass sometimes. Like
and his brother.
They throw the headsets on and nerd out.
No, for me it's like I love like the stand-up one we had at the old station, like the Tecmo, like that stuff, because it's easy. It's 2 buttons. This one is like 1,000 buttons and like like those is it called first player games where you're kind of just I find those. Like I watch certain because there's a guy at the Elks that would watch that on his breaks and like kind of gaming.
Yeah.
And like I'd sit there and watch with him for a bit, and it'd be like, how do you keep like I don't know how they move so quick and see things, and it's just I am older too, so maybe that's why I'm a little. I think my eye's a little bit trained for the old school Sega Genesis, Nintendo games, but none of the new stuff now.
I did like that Destiny though. I would slay in the Crucible, but no more. Too old. The oldest guy here. Reed didn't believe me I was the oldest guy here.
Phyllis says, hey, everybody, just coming by from WST. Smash the like. She's bringing everybody from WST to smash the like button right away. Oh, that's great. Terry Wong says, Destiny 2, Hunter, Titan, or Warlock main? I don't know what that means. Those must be games. I don't know if Zach knows what Terry's talking about there. I don't. But.
Oh, Terry Wong. Destiny 2, Hunter, Titan, or Warlock main. I'd probably go Hunter as my main. But I
see, you know what that is.
I rock all 3 subclasses if I used to.
Yeah, that's like the 3 that you could pick off the start of the game, right?
For Call of Duty?
No, Destiny.
No, Destiny 2.
Oh, see.
I only played the first Destiny. I've never touched the second one, but I love that game.
I spent way too much time there. And you do these six man, they're called raids. So you got like puzzle solving and beat the boss, all that stuff. And you get like all the badass gear.
Yeah.
So I remember I think I was up really late, and this was when my son was younger, and his buddies, I guess, were up all night. And there's a common place, the tower that you can hang out. And I'm walking around in there, and I got all my stuff that glows in the dark and guns that you can't get unless you do something miraculous. And then I guess the next day, my son busted me because, Dad, you were up really late last night because so-and-so and so-so saw you at the tower. They were checking you out. And he had screenshots of me. And my gamer tag is vulcanized puck.
Okay.
So, there was no denying that was me.
Caster 1990 on the Nazi chat says, my buddy used to trash talk his opponents on Call of Duty. What drove them nuts was my buddy would use a filter so his voice comes out like Donald Duck. Drove the opponents nuts. See, now that's funny.
Well,
because he's probably not being disrespectful.
No,
he's just like...
No. There's one guy that disguises his voice that he sounds like he's like 8 years old or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so he says some stuff that's borderline's inappropriate or whatever, his 8th grade teacher at school and stuff like that and what she wears. But he's pretty funny because then he makes all these guys laugh, right?
Can you believe that these gamers, the money they're making, like the pros?
Yeah.
Oh, it's unreal, man.
I watched a little bit of a documentary of guys, but they all lived in a house. But then one guy wasn't pulling his weight or didn't do well, and they kicked him out. Like, it was really...
Yeah, because there's some famous guys.
Yeah, there's some super famous.
Like, they just sit there for, I don't know if it's 6 to 8 hours, and one guy wears like a black wig and has like a fake mustache.
Oh, that's Dr. Disrespect.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. He's funny.
So
Whatever.
I'm kind of just blown away.
It's a whole subculture that I find fascinating. These guys that stream and so many people, like that Dr. Disrespect, he had a really funny one years ago, I remember. Jimmy, thanks for the $500 donation. We all know he tried to press 5 and added some zeros there, but guess what, Jimmy? No refunds.
No refunds. Did you see Dusty's picture on Twitter about the good old theater we're going to be in?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, looks great, man. I'm almost getting a little nervous here for a we're just presenting an award, but we gotta knock it out of the park. Can't be stuttering up there.
I guess. I just got to say my friend's son, Hunter Sade Martin, in their little rookie showcase, I believe Nashville, Tampa, Florida, and the Hurricanes. He was a draft pick of the Florida Panthers this year. Got 3 goals.
Nice.
3 games, 3 goals. Good for him. He'll most likely be back in Medicine Hat this year, but I think there's supposed to be a wagon too.
Nice. And let's be honest. The young star for the Oilers had a rough outing this time in Penticton. Not a lot of offense. I mean,
it's hard, man. Especially, when you look at the other rosters, which I kind of had a glance at. There's some older guys.
Yeah.
There. So most, I would say, a better part of the Edmonton rookies are all, quite young, playing with new people for the first time.
A lot of invites.
A lot of trying to get the attention of the scouting staff too. And I'm sure that, like, tonight is on the way home, just dreading the call to the front of the plane or whatever. And if they're flying, they must be flying. But you get that call and they say, yeah, we want you to come to camp, or they want you to go back to, or you're on your way back to junior and stuff like that. So very interesting flight home for a lot of these guys. Because sometimes they tell you, yeah, we want you for main camp, right? But you don't want to go back all pumpernickeling and stuff, because there's a lot of guys that are, told thanks, but no thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks. And again, pump the brakes. I know I've said that like 4 times already on the show, but on the Matt Savoy, like, he's going to be fine. I always find it tough when you're a really skilled guy and played a little bit of pro. Obviously, he went back to junior last year, Gager, but like, he's playing with guys he's never played with. He's, maybe maybe, and no disrespect to his line mates, but maybe they don't read the game like he does. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and it's okay if he didn't have a breakout tournament, because let's just say in the 3 games he had 6 points, we'd be saying the same thing. Like it's a young stars tournament, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's essentially just a kid, you know. I've talked about how Dylan Holloway had so much success at training camps, but he was older, man. This guy, he was in college, and you know, he's not just a young guy. Like,
yeah,
there's a ton of growing left to do for this player to grow into hopefully the player that everyone thinks that he can become.
Mm-hmm.
But it's again, the beauty of it, he doesn't have to do that by next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. As the big club gets going here on Wednesday, we'll have our first preseason game on Sunday, which I know Oilers fans are going to be absolutely pumped for. Before we get out here, this day in sports history, Gager, 2004 NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman imposed a lockout due to an impasse in contract negotiations. The player union and NHL officials did not meet again until December 9th. Remember, that season was just wiped out.
Yeah, that was 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in Germany at that point, and it messed up all the teams in
Everybody
Europe.
was going there,
well,
right?
Yeah. So we, all of a sudden I was playing against Doug Waite. He was playing in Frankfurt. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Whoa! What's going on?
And but I mean, certain points it helped. I think what the main issue was, and I think it happened in some leagues, they just added another card or two just for everyone.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I know people say, oh, they took jobs, but these guys, a lot of guys went over there just for a good time and completely destroyed the chemistry of the team itself. Like, I can't tell you how many times that happened. Like, I know there was guys back here going, oh, it doesn't matter. They should go over there and play and stuff. I don't care if they're taking some guy's job. No, you're taking usually an Auslander or someone that's not from that country, like an import's contract away. They're using up another card and taking a spot for another guy.
Of course,
right? So, and if it worked out, great. But in more cases than not, it was a complete mistake. And a lot of times you just got guys that didn't care and just couldn't wait and complained because it's not the NHL. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And we were lucky. We got Schultze. Nick Schultz.
Former Edmonton Oiler?
Former Edmonton Oiler, yeah. I felt bad for Nick because he was more of a defensive-minded defenseman, and he came over and they thought he would be like a stud offensive defenseman, and he wasn't his game, because we actually had John Michael Lyles was supposed to come, and he came for a couple skates, but then there was a World Cup or something like that.
Oh,
and then he hurt his ankle at it and couldn't come.
Lyles can get around the ice.
Oh, could he ever?
And I'll leave you with this. 46 years ago today, Wayne Gretzky attends his first professional hockey training camp as a member of the Indianapolis Racers in the WHA. Okay.
Yeah. That career turned out all right.
Yeah, I think he did well.
He did all right.
That's going to do it for us here on EST Afternoons for this Monday edition. Tomorrow's a big day. The Esties, I don't know how we're going to focus tomorrow on our show. Reed and Jay will be live from down there as well. And we will go to Vancouver for a continuation of our NHL previews, and we're hoping to have another Ford on. Wink, wink. We'll get to all that tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the thumbs up. We finished at 81. Great job by the Nasties there. Big shout out to Aaron Grymes and Trey Ford from the Edmonton Elks for joining us here on Edmonton Sports Talk. For Joaquin Gage and Zach Kubusch, I am Hernan Salas. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne up next.